topics for today?
Hello. What? Wait, say it again.
Actually,
I
no,
was,
I have been busy the entire week.
uh, no issues. Um, Damn, Josh won't be able to attend either.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
N- it's actually a holiday from,
Uh,
I forgot, it's the Gujarati New Year today. Yeah.
let's just start making up holidays now. Now let's just. It's the whatchamacallit holiday. Just so disappointed and just both. I mean, particularly Tanuj and Josh just falling down on the job every day. Oh man, I can't get the stinking lighting working in this room. Well, Sri will organize this a little bit while I try to get the lighting in this thing set up.
Sure.
How's Diwali? Anybody lose a finger with firecracker?
Did not lose a finger. It's still there.
It's I mean, you could, like, in this business, you could lose a toe, you could even lose an eye, but losing a finger is like, we're talking productivity loss. It's pretty bad.
Okay, all right, while you talk, I'll scrounge up some more topics.
Yeah, Pratik, how are you? We got the newcomers.
I'm fine. Yeah, I'm really good.
Good deal.
How about you, Lee?
Feisty this morning, I guess. Not too bad. I think we're well, I'm hoping after KubeCon we're maybe turning over a little bit of a new leaf. And by that I mean it's time for us to grow the team some. Boy, you can't. Boy, the videos. It's time for us to grow the team. It's time for us to well, maybe for my part, I don't know, to try to be more disciplined on some things that that I disciplined on things like newsletters, a bit more marketing. It's hard because it's a priority shift, because it's almost every waking moment that I'm busily focused on this stuff.
Yes, absolutely.
Book was published last week, which is good because now there's just one book to write. That frees things up. I think I'm doing pretty well. I just installed Big Sur, the new Mac OS, on the machine that I'm on.
Yeah, the update is nice.
You enjoy it? Yeah, it's. Do you guys consider this that Apple? Well, what's the right word?
ARM, it will move to ARM based.
Oh, wait, say it one more time.
ARM based.
ARM
Like for, yes.
The Apple Silicon?
Yes, Apple Silicon. I was just following them and I found it funny that it does not support Docker right now.
Yeah, because of the hardware issues, like maybe, right?
The ARM version doesn't, right?
Yes, ARM version does not support Docker right now, but they're planning to do something about it, maybe like virtualize and put it up there, but it will not work as well. But let's see, it's just the beginning for them.
Yeah, also adding to the point, like running Docker creates a lot of heat in Macs, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, it does. It does, especially on Windows. Oh God.
Yeah.
I agree there.
I am planning to buy a Raspberry for my dog as a Docker station. I'm thinking, otherwise this machine just blows up kind of.
I agree. Completely agree.
Well, I tell you what. I guess when we sort of stop and count, who's. I feel bad for Josh because it's just like who's really committed to this work, like who's really here, and we've got Tanuj, we've got Pratya, we've got Pratik, Shree's here. Just no Josh. I don't. You guys are getting, Tanuj, you're just gonna have to pass it along to him. Just the level of disappointment that I have this morning. All right. Well, I'm distracted because I'm trying to figure out the lighting in the room, but I'll do it later. We should be a little bit productive. It's good to hear that most of you guys I think are in good spirits from Diwali. And then Shriti, can you educate me again? You said there's another holiday today. It's what?
Yes,
Um,
Diwali.
no, apparently it's the Gujarati
Bhai
New Year.
Dooj.
Bhai
Maybe Bhai
Dooj,
Dooj.
There are a
Chhat,
couple of holidays going around.
Chhat
It's
Yeah.
New
Puja,
Year. It's Chhat where I live.
Bihar.
It's apparently the Gujarati New Year for Josh. Not sure what that is,
Oh,
but so yeah, to answer your question, there are a couple of holidays going on. Would differ depending on who you ask.
Oh, sure. Um, nice. Okay. Hey, by the
That's
way,
the clever answer.
that's nice. That's nice. It's that time of year. It's gonna happen. So this week is KubeCon. Um, a task on my to-do list is to figure out if there's any of our meetings that will be canceled or not. It's
Mhm.
possible. It's just it'll be a busy week. Um, but also not. Also, perhaps not. We'll have to think about it.
I think it's on Wednesday, so probably the Meshery meeting will be conflicting.
Yeah, right. There's another one tomorrow. It's about an hour later from now, and
Uh,
it's a smaller group. Yeah, we may have to figure something out. So but there's definitely two things that I want to talk about with you guys, with the people who are on the call, and I want to talk about it with some other people that aren't on the call, but that'll happen later. So one is it's after Tanuj and Josh and uh, Dhruv and Vineeth, all of the Jaipurians or all the people attending that university, they're some of them have their exams complete, but Tanuj is in a special hell, I think, with his special project and presentation.
Yep, kind of that. I had a 2 month project which I didn't do, and I'm doing it in 3 days.
That's how it's done. That's how that's how it's done.
I'm sorry for chuckling. Continue.
Typical
maybe
engineer's life.
uh, which also means, hey, maybe I should stop wasting time and kind of talk to you guys about two things. So one is after Tanuj is done with the presentation, and we'll want to start to hone it in a bit on when we can land the Layer 5 NG site. And it's not that we need to go kill anyone that's working on it. Rather, we just need to say, hey, that section, let's be okay with that not being public initially, or no, these sections must be there. And we'll just need to go through, we're going to walk through each of the pages, refine them. The part of that will be that there's an individual that some of you have interacted with in the community, Augustine Ogiza. He lives in Nigeria. He's been on a few calls. He goes by Austin for short, which is nice. that he's been started working on the brand style guide a bit more, iterating over the brand style guide. Do any of you, have any of you not seen the brand style guide? And don't feel embarrassed to brag if you haven't. But if you have, if everybody's,
It's there probably on the older site, layer5.io. That's a page.
Slash brand. Slash
Yes.
brand.
well,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
that's, yeah, both of you guys are close. You're correct, you're accurate in your thinking that by the way, there was an architect from HPE last week I didn't realize, was asking a different engineer at HPE, like where the logos are for layer 5, which, to which the answer is exactly what you guys just said. It's layer5io/brand. But I was quite encouraged that their HPE engineers asking for the logos, because that means that they're presenting layer 5 as part of their solutions, which is great, which means that they're presenting measuring, which means that they're presenting your guys' works. Particularly for all of you on this call, they're directly presenting, like Layer5io, whether people who only work on like SMP or measuring, whether they like it or not, Layer5io, it represents, or it reflects on those projects, how well the Layer5io site looks. Rather, what I meant was this particular deck is a brand style guide. It is kind of one of maybe like 3 or one of 2 or 3 documents that we need. This one, it gives the essence of who it is that we think that we are, sort of who it is that we're going after. And then it begins to get into some particulars around, in this case, around colors. So these first 4, 5 are, these are what I would consider that at the moment, these are our colors. This is an acknowledgement that we need at least another one. But so on Austin, Augustine Ogisa, he is a visual designer, or he's studying to be one. And last night, he was presenting some new typography and colors. The typography, I'd like to get both of those things in front of all of you to express opinion on and see what you think. The typography, you know what? Let me not describe it. I'll just say he's working on some good visualizations, and your input on those is asked for, and he'll be helping. Then those visualizations will help get layer 5 NG across the line. Late last night, just because, not because I did a very good job, but because I know that it really holds people up, the lack of content. So I grabbed I did a couple of quick changes. So one is, and it's incomplete, there's some filler content, but just began to try to fill in some content, because if we're going to use this component, then we just need, maybe there's nothing really to do with the component, it's just filling in the content. So there's something for you guys to think about. Let me increase the screen size here a little bit. This component has an effect if you so choose to use it, which is it has 2 different, it's super faint right here. There's a pink pixels, really, really light back here. That they were,
I can see.
okay.
Kind of mist like, yeah.
So I switched out one of them, and the reality is, like, I switched out one of them to work over here. It's sort of, there's the mesh tree operator. At the heart of the mesh tree operator is mesh sync. And so behind the scenes, you're looking at the mesh tree operator, but then you roll over and you get a little mesh sync behind it. Great, that's appropriate for that one. But each of these need to have their own unique one, and they were just kind of reusing the same things. And so we need to or I'll need to, or someone will need to provide the content and just plug it in. This one, so basically what I'm saying is we're going to need to go through, and I don't know that this call is the best one. Like this call today is a great call to go through and like review a page, mark it all up, say here's what we're going to, kind of, this is what the final thing should be, and we would be, if we achieve that, we'd be ready to publish. This is a good call because
I think this is a like kind of like an implementation of parallax effect. I think it can be used for viewing the Mesri page, like kind of like what is there in the Mesri site.
yeah, right, yeah. There are two. I think we're going to find that in a good way. Maybe we'll find that in a good way. We have a number of we have enough animations. We might find we have enough to this one that Tanuj has delivered is great. It'll work. It'll like I think maybe the best use case is the one that we're using it for, which is sort of a run through of what it looks like to install Meshery and kind of what you expect to do on the command line, and give you some examples of some of the value. This particular one here, maybe we use this in a couple of spots, but maybe not. But it's nice because it doesn't have to be about, you can put whatever image you want to put over here. So this could be like a feature walkthrough, or there could be an animated image that's sort of where we've done our screen recording and our, but my point is between cleaning up that parallax thing that we were just looking at, between the how it works, which is, we can rename it if we want to rename that title, but Vinayak he has a different version of this that actually has, I think it realizes most of Josh's vision around sort of the service meshes, satelliting. If this was Meshery in the center, and each of these represented a service mesh, and if we've got 9 of these, then what I'm saying is like, hey, we're in a place where we have maybe so by the way, so Shivai, this is being recorded, and I actually hope that he watches this, which he's not, but is to say he signed up to deliver a JavaScript implementation of this, and to say it positively, Shivai, I think, volunteers for and gets engaged in many, 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 many things, which means that he very rarely delivers on something, period. Which means we've been waiting for this for like 6 weeks, and he made an update to fix a bug, or 8 weeks, I don't know. Tanuj had fixed some of it. He's gonna, what I'm saying is, Shriti, do you mind taking an action item to follow up with Shivai to
Sure.
ask him for an ETA, let him know that we're trying to plan the go live date for the site.
Sure.
So we don't need to recount that.
Just interrupting a bit, like I've tried fixing the mega menu in my local. What I found is that the issue is being caused by the padding. Like it's not the issue of the JavaScript inside what is defined inside the div there, but actually what is causing is that if you notice carefully, just beside the home, you will instantly be redirected to the pages mega menu, right? Just if you move a little bit right, yeah, instantly.
Even if you fix that, which I did in my PR, it will not fix the issue because
Yeah, I
how
know, because when you scroll, the menu
no,
gets like,
it it is not like that. Means how Strappy is doing is that there is only one div for the menu, and the contents are dynamically changed using JavaScript instead of CSS. So there is,
oh, I see.
so it is not rendered. Different components are not rendered every time. It's
Okay,
just a single. It is just a single div.
okay.
Good. So we should absolutely use JavaScript or what have you. Like there's there on this site, there or we don't have to stay within the bounds, so to speak. We can redraw what those lines are in terms of what it includes. So I won't go through the rest of the site because that's sort of an activity. I would just say, hey, there's an activity we want to go through and do. There are two other things. I think there's just two other things I want to talk to you guys about, and then I want to talk about your work. Go through some of the work you've done. So one of those is Get Nighthawk, and the other one is Learn Layer5. I chuckle because Pratya, your name is sort of on both of those. Not that I anticipate that they'll both move forward at the same time, but before we talk about Get Nighthawk, is there any update or things that you've done since last we spoke about Learn Layer5?
Yeah, like I was trying to like import the components from the storybook and some other sites to the NG site. I tried that, but there are some problems like the div is getting out of the area state. Like I need to fix those things. Then I could show you. I tried, definitely. I'll still try. If I could fix that, then I'll show you.
Nice. Okay. Which component were you trying to pull over first?
So like for the storybook side, I tried to import the cards part for the what you see in the learnstorybook.com. There's when you land there's sort of cards over there. I tried to pick them and place them in Layer5 site. Just trying to experiment, but didn't go right. I need to look at it.
Okay, then good. So we still
like I'm pretty new to the Nighthawk site. I DM'd you on Slack, but like I think you didn't make it.
I ended up seeing I thank you for that. I ended up seeing it, but I was talking to a professor at NITK, Congo, NITKHA something.
Congo.
And he's quite excited about engaging with he himself and probably some of his students on Nighthawk related things. So who's not familiar with Nighthawk?
Me.
I haven't been. I haven't checked the document. I just saw the document, but did not go through it.
Cool. So, all right. In Meshery, where we're doing performance tests, and before you run the test, it asks you for a choice of 3 different load generators. There's a radio button, or a set of radio buttons. One of those choices is called Nighthawk. And so Nighthawk is written in C++, which is important to note because Meshery is written in Go. And so bridging between those two programs it makes a little bit more work. Nighthawk was created, its genesis is within the Envoy project. So Envoy is C++, Nighthawk is C++. The load generator that we used from the very beginning, it's Fortio. It's this project. It's written in Go. It was born of Istio. And so that was the first one that we leaned into because we were kind of focused on Istio, and this was written for that. And looks like this tides are turning to Nighthawk, and Nighthawk has a few pretty interesting capabilities being built in. We've been engaging with that team. I think the Istio project will probably shift to using Nighthawk as its core, instead of Fortio. AppMesh will, AWS, there's a few different teams that are looking at using Nighthawk. Nighthawk was, like I said, born of this project. If you want to use Nighthawk as a tool, as a load generator, you go to Envoy's documentation, and if you look for Nighthawk, there's one page that just mentions it. And I don't even know that that's a hyperlink. Well, Nighthawk itself isn't really well distributed. Like there aren't, there's not a lot of packaging for it and releases to go grab. So it's under GitHub Envoy project Nighthawk. They do have releases. It's they package it up in a Docker container and release it. And that's not ideal for, or that's fine, but it's also not ideal for what we need to do to integrate it into Meshery. So we're going to have to do our own builds. Okay. When we do, it'll take a little bit of effort, but not a lot, to maybe make builds for different architectures, and then to just make those releases available to people. It's not. And when we do that, that means that there's an opportunity for, so this is an area of focus for us, for the Layer 5 community and for what Meshery does. Of the things that you can do with service meshes, Meshery and Layer 5 community have laid claim to, have kind of put the flag in the performance management ground, and we're focused in that area. Yeah, if you were to come to use Meshery today, it's very likely that you're coming to use it because of its performance management features. In the future, we want you to use it for other things as well. So we want to continue to invest into this area, and we want to get work more closely with Nighthawk and the people here. Nighthawk will allow us to, Nighthawk itself is extensible. It's also soon to be deployable in a horizontally scalable way. It's soon to be deployable in such a way that you can have multiple instances of Nighthawk, and tell all of those instances that you would like for them to run as a team, and generate load to different endpoints. And so when you're doing a performance assessment, you now have sort of a 3D view of what's going on, rather than just one load generator hitting things from one direction. You have many vectors to analyze your environment with. That Nighthawk will then facilitate the collection of all those performance results back to a single data sync, and then we'll do performance analysis there. That's great. That really eases the load for Meshery to be able to do that kind of a thing. Nighthawk is also taking some steps forward in other areas that are of interest to Meshery as well. So it's an interested project for us. We have a need to make new builds of Nighthawk. The project itself has a need where they don't have a website that represents Nighthawk. They don't have a bunch of releases that people can consume. They don't have a number of features that Meshery will bring. So the thought is that we would bring forth a site. I can't think of a better name other than Get Nighthawk. And that's in part because the site would be about helping distribute Nighthawk, those different builds that we would do. It would help provide distribution of Nighthawk, and through Meshery CPL or through Meshery, it would help let people, you can use Meshery CPL to like orchestrate Nighthawk, or Meshery itself to orchestrate Nighthawk. We'll also be working with them when they have multiple instances of Nighthawk stood up, and you tell, and you configure those to say that you'd like for Nighthawk to generate load against the target. Well, that configuration file, from my perspective, that should be in service mesh performance or SMP format. That's exactly what we're trying to do with that project. So there's a lot of overlap in a very good way with these teams and this focus. So we want to partner. And so if we take a little extra effort while we're having to create our own builds anyway, if we do a little extra effort to put up a site, describe the builds, make the builds available, make GitHub pay for creating those builds, because we'll just be using GitHub Actions to do it, then, once we're there and it's up, kind of like the SMP spec site, we there isn't necessarily a ton of maintenance to go on the site. But yet, for sure, it'll make a splash, like it'll have an impact. It'll be political capital for one. It'll be more bigger light on layer 5 and its projects. Let me give you an example of what I mean, what I envision will happen. So it's actually the problem that we're addressing is Envoy itself has had that problem. So if you want to go install Envoy, get started with it, you can, the project itself, it says the fastest way to get started using Envoy is installing using pre-built binaries. So say, oops. And so if you go to installing Envoy, this first sentence comes from the Envoy project itself. Okay, we build some Docker images that you can consume. The rest of the page in the official Envoy doc, the vast majority of it has links to a project called Get Envoy. So just like Get Nighthawk, Get Envoy is more or less exactly what I'm describing with Get Nighthawk. Get Envoy is a collection of different packages for different operating systems. And it's a small CLI to literally pull down Envoy and start it. And so in many respects, this is kind of the target of what we're aiming to do with Nighthawk. And when we're done, and it's a small site, it has docs. It's just they have 4 commands or what have you. We're not going to create a separate CTL. We already have mesh CTL, so we don't need another CLI. But when you go through the docs, like every other link in here, even down here is like you can brew install Envoy, or you can do Get Envoy brew install. Like it's so by the time that we were done, there would be a new site, a new page in here that does the same thing about Get Nighthawk. Yeah, that's the Get Nighthawk one. So the thinking was, Pratya, and the thinking was that we would, because we're well versed with Jekyll, go do the same thing we did with the S&P spec site. Go grab a theme, massage it, get up a couple of pages, scratch some stuff, make it look good.
I think I can take this as my winter project.
Nice. Yeah. When does winter start, by the way?
Good question.
So this is that's great, Pratya. It's the reason I ask it like that is because, yeah, I do. It's one of those things that I think, given your experience with the S&P spec site, that you and others can, given the outline of what we're looking to accomplish, like you and others, I think, can take it and be successful in delivering it mostly onto your own. Like that there will be a few, so Austin is on, but there'll be a few things that we'll need. Like we'll need a couple of colors. We've already got, it's obvious you guys understand already that, like, hey, there's 2 or 3 colors we're gonna want to make sure that get into the site, just like a Mesh3 IO and an S&P spec.io. Get Nighthawk IO would have a couple of these colors. We'd have a logo for it, and but yeah, so it seems very. I think you guys are quite capable of doing it.
I think the better approach will be like imitating the existing Envoy site and then look it as like SMP site. Then I just need the description body part, like what I need to add into that site, I just need that part, and also some logos too.
Yeah, now the thing, yeah, very good. Yeah, it doesn't, I wouldn't hold yourself to the, so by the way, the Envoy site itself, or the docs are a standard, are Sphinx, are hideous. And the site itself, I think, is like almost like a single page. Because I think you get redirected to the docs or to a different site for almost. So this goes to Medium, this goes to GitHub, this goes to Sphinx, this goes to Medium, this goes to Katacoda or some Katacoda scenarios. So by the way, here's a good example of kind of what we're looking at doing. Like, so it does say powered by Katacoda, but then you go through so that's try, and then community is, it's okay. So here's the second page that they have on this site. Anyway, what I'm saying is like, yeah, we could take a copy of the Mesh3.io site or the S&P spec site, or just grab a new like Jekyll template and you refine it a little. And yeah, you're right about the content and things. There's some content starting in the logos and the colors. There's some content starting to form in this doc about the purpose of it and why, what we're trying to accomplish.
Okay, got it. And what will be the theme color as like the in this site, right?
Yeah, well, or let me try to give let me try to allow for some creative freedom, but give enough guidelines that that you, enough boundaries that you can fill in the blanks where there are blanks. So I would say this, that we will want to, when you look across basically like these three colors here, like if we didn't ever talk again and and people just executed on the site, I would say you wouldn't have gone wrong just taking this same S&P color scheme and applying that. Like for sure, we're going to bring in these two elements here as part of the logo. In this logo, like unlike the, so in this logo, we only have this color, and I think it's this one. And S&P performance, we have each of these.
3 colors. So no.
Right, and Meshery, yeah, it ends up, like technically it's like this right here, I think is this. These two, so it's these two are the darkest color, these next two, this, these next two, this, these next two, this, these next two, this.
Got the point. We are using 5 colors. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. So this one uses 2 of those colors, this one uses 2 of those colors. The third color is in the lettering. And then I think layer 5, it uses just the same 3. So like these 3 are present in all 3 of the logos that we have up here. Of course, we do have other logos, or I guess logos is the right word, other project icons, other project logos. Some of them can be seen, it's not even all of them, but some of them can be seen here, like here's one more. We kind of have a logo for the SMI conformance. This right here is mesh sync on the chest of what is overall the Mesh3 operator. So the Mesh3 operator is this, but then if you just talk about mesh sync itself, it's just this. So we actually have a number of logos. We'll need one for Get Nighthawk. It's possible that it could be, and Austin, this is something maybe for you to think about a little bit. And the reason I hesitated in my sentence is I think we have enough pre-designed logos that we might be able to just go and choose one. But given the nature of Nighthawk, of it being a load generator and being able to generate multiple instances, generate different things, it might make sense, like if we were to use something like, this is pretty generic, but it's not too far off the mark in terms of sort of what we're trying to do with the project itself. So, and actually, it's funny, Nighthawk is talked about on here. So.
I think it will be very better, like if we have a custom logo for the Nighthawk Layer 5 Nighthawk icon.
Because this one's just
We,
too generic.
yeah, like we can have a conversation call with Augustine if you want regarding designing the logo.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I want that. Yeah. Or yes, yep. Feel free. Go ahead. Do it. I'll try to send over a few. I'll send over, or you know what, in the community drive under websites and assets, I think you'll end up finding that there's a number of possibilities in there. You might look through.
Okay, I'll check that out.
But yeah, no, don't. I'm half kidding about designing some new ones. Yeah, hey, it doesn't hurt. We should try. Like, I agree, this is too generic. We should find something better. So on this, Pratia, Neil, I know this makes sense for you, but Pratia, does that make sense? The goal there?
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, actually, I'm
I will
sorry.
go.
I just said Neil and Pratia twice. I meant to say Pratik. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, I have a couple of questions about Nighthawk, like basic ones, if you can clear. So like I was asking, so we will be kind of rewriting what Nighthawk does currently and what we want for Mashri, right? As a load generator so that we can have a better kind of integration, I can say, between what we desire and what they have done till now. So we will be contributing to the Nighthawk project as well, right? I mean,
Yeah.
to that development as well.
Right. Yeah, that's a fair way of putting it. That conceptually or technically, the Get Nighthawk site and the builds that we do and the repo itself, they will be separate from Envoy's org. Like they will land in the Layer 5 IO org, but their value is really, most of its value is benefits Nighthawk as a project. Some of its value benefits Meshri as a project, and some of its value benefits SMP as a project.
Okay, got it. Okay, cool. I'll get into it. I was kind of, I was also busy this week. I'll see this right away.
Nice. Good. Well, okay, so Shivai is on. Shivai, thanks for coming. I don't know that you necessarily with Diwali and stuff. I don't know that you've had necessarily any time to look at the to do mega menu stuff. So, but we were talking about the mega menu earlier. Shivai, are you there? Oops, okay.
He might be having audio issues. I'll ping him in Slack.
Okay. Then Austin, something for for everyone to give some thought to, but Austin, as you think about some of the interactions that people will have on this site, one of the ones that right now we have a couple of different user experiences for buttons and cards, and And I consider that's fine because we don't want there's going to be a bunch of collections of cards or of collections on the site. So blogs are a collection of cards, workshops, events, um, members, uh, stuff, a bunch of collections, and then we're gonna have buttons. We have different, effects that occur, and it's good that we do. Like, hey, that keeps the site fresh. Um, so this card is a small outline, uh, but actually we end up there's enough that we have. It's good that there's different styles, right? Like the circles, maybe the circles do something different, but eventually when you look across enough of them, you end up seeing enough differences that it looks cobbled together because it is because we're mid-flight on creating it. The blog posts have one effect. Like if you hover over the cards here, I think what would be nice, everyone, I think what would be nice for me, like, is you make it easy on the user. If they hover over anywhere on the card like this, then I don't know. I mean, I guess I was gonna say, like, would we not want to allow them to click here? Maybe so. Like maybe when they come over here, we would do the animation for the transformation here, and we would probably invoke the same transformation because it's the same thing. And we'd make it easy to let them just click the card anywhere. Kind of a similar thing, I think here. So it's really obvious to the user, like, hey, this is activated and you're good to go.
I have a
But
point regarding the footer section. Can you scroll down? Yeah, like in the last pair, we shifted the Layer5 logo from above the tweet section to the bottom of the comment section. Why is it are we trying to highlight the Twitter section part? Because if you notice at the most website, the icon should be there in the left and top side, right, in the photo section.
anyone else have a comment on that?
Actually, what I think what happened was in the PR there was some free space, and he maybe try. I think it was Rishikesh who tried to change the layout a bit. So this happened. I think logo should be on the top, not the Twitter.
Yeah.
Neil, this is,
Yeah,
while this doesn't have as much to show, I think this is really rather well done. That, like, yeah, on the Layer5 NG site, that exactly like, I think Tanuj or Josh, maybe both of you guys had originally kind of refined the footer, and it's looking pretty great. That, yeah, you're right. Like, hey, the most prominent thing is like the fact that it's kind of like the end of reading a blog post or end of reading paper, where it's the conclusion and you're kind of repeating what you saw in the header, or like you have a paper, you have an intro and an outro. In the paper, in the outro, you're sort of repeating yourself. And it's a quick summary of what you learned. And so, yeah, on Layer5 NG, it might be nice if there's the logo. Underneath the logo is a description of who we are, what we do, what it is. And then that leaves room for tweet stuff over here is definitely not the most prominent thing that we're trying to get people to do, but rather the probably the most prominent thing that we're trying to get people, or the second most prominent, is the fact that, like, we have projects and we want you to go look at those projects. And if you are curious enough to look through a list of other, about us and other pages, good, this is a great place to come see them, because some of these, you like this brand, you may not, when you go to the top menu, just like on Layer5, you may or may not find, you might not find something like that brand link anywhere but in the footer. Yeah, it's close, right? It's under, here's the company, but yep, the brand. I mean, so um, long answer to, yeah, no, this shouldn't be here. And these colors are pretty hideous. I did this last night to try to give it some effect. Um, and yeah, these. So I originally started this top part of the conversation to ask, um, well, VJ, are you still on? Or Shivai, are you still on?
Yeah, Lee,
Oh,
I'm there.
hey, hey, no pressure in this answer because I know we just had Duale. But we were talking about the mega menu, and one of the things we were going to, and so I figured I'd ask if you'd spent any time at keyboard over over the vacation, over the holiday.
Yeah, so I haven't completed it yet, but I have started with basically converting the entire CSS into JavaScript. So only the things like the border radius, all of those will be kept in that embedded CSS that we have in the navigation.js file that has been created for the mega menu. But rest of the things that is keeping the list of the items that are there inside the container within this container, those would be basically dependent on the item itself, like let's say the project search. So that is something that I'm working right now by converting that into a JavaScript based object so that it dynamically changes the content, and that way we'll have the similar kind of effect like we saw in Strappy. And also at the same time, the second one is since you have said that the content needs to be such that you only change like the metadata and it automatically. So I'm also in the process of getting that in. So earlier I was just working on the design. So in this week, like probably by Wednesday, I'll start working on the metadata part so that you can just simply change the metadata and it will get reflected in the website without having to go and change like within the files.
That's awesome. That's great. While you're in there, if you're able to, um, yeah, we talked about this I think last time, but it's the what is it? It's the animation that goes on. Is this one is a little softer. It's a little more pretty. They have a slight bounce to it. Sort of, it sort of retract. It sort of comes out and like
Yeah.
retracts. And it's just smoother than what we have. The one that we have, it sort of, I think it sort of opens from the center.
Yeah, it opens from the center. So yeah, even this animation, I'm just putting that in right now. I remember like you had said that we can, because I guess this looks a bit better as compared to the earlier one.
Yeah. One thing that, and so I don't know if you had heard this earlier, but for Tanuj and for others, on our blog site, we were looking, I'm sorry, on our blog collection, we were looking at how when we're invoking, when we allow people to click. So I think if they're here, we allow them to click. If they come here, we allow them to click, but not on the card itself. And I was saying like, hey, I think it might be nice if just they could click anywhere on the card, and that when they roll over, not only are we invoking this animation here, but we would also invoke this animation as well. And this Strappy site was sort of reinforcing that experience where there's a card, there's an area over here that activates the arrow. So whether you're hitting the picture or you're just hitting white space. So it was just validating the suggestion, I think, that so not only can we do that maybe in the mega menu, but also on the blog page itself as well. That card.
Yeah, yeah, I'm writing this down. I think we should do this.
So Tanuj, question for you. So there's a fine gentleman who just contributed this latest post widget, Omkar, I think.
Yeah.
And part of his suggestion was that maybe on this particular page, this is somewhat duplicative because uh, these are just the same blog posts that you can see right here. And so on this page, though, it makes perfect sense. Like, yeah, that's great. We should have the latest post on right here. So instead, if we think about a different widget, the one that comes to my mind is having a related, no, hold on. Well, I guess having a widget for related posts makes a lot of sense when you get to the bottom of any post. Right here, it would have related posts of the same category, posts that have the same tags.
Yeah. Yeah. I should-
But for anybody um, for for Olu, who's on the call, Olu and Olewola, for everybody that's on the call, what do you think would work well as a widget here?
Uh, I think the latest post should go on the left uh, instead of the right. The latest post it should go be on the left instead of right, I guess.
On this page here, you mean?
On the main page also.
I
It
think we
will
can
be.
add we now have the latest to the previous version in this kind of order. We can have a widget which defines like if anyone wants to look at the previous blocks at the first glance, then he or she can do that. A widget can like that.
Like, here's a list of the ones that you've recently visited, or
Yeah, like here is the latest post. What I'm trying to say is that we can add a button or some like toggle something thing which can change the state from the latest to the previous version, like the oldest one. If
oh,
anyone wants to start from the oldest one, then he or she might.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Right.
just browsing through. Oh, hey, actually, this is kind of interesting. I'm just browsing through a different site to look at their blogs to just be inspired. So they have a big fat article, and they have all their posts in a list. If you go to any one of them, yeah, it's pretty bland. They don't really have. Anyway, it's just
And also one more thing, the Layer 5 NG site looks really good when it's in dark mode. It's like the background is dark and the color comes out really well. If somebody is interested, they can probably just have a button to switch from light mode to dark mode in Layer 5 NG site. It will look good.
yeah.
Yeah, like I agree completely because the layer 5, the 5 icon gets like it has an effect on the dark mode. Yeah, like
Yes, so like
what I
if we
say, like
just
it glows out. If I say
yes,
dark.
so if we just what do you say? If we kind of calibrate all the colors, like if they don't match with the background and stuff, and then it will be really good. Yeah.
Sounds good to me. Yeah, the dark mode makes a ton of sense. Or the ability for people to switch to dark mode makes a ton of sense to me. Um, okay. Uh, so I'm not convinced that we came up with kind of what the right widget here would be. But certainly, I think having a widget at the bottom of the pages for related anything, basically it's the same thing as the latest post, except instead of the query being for latest post, the query is for um, you know,
Same
3
tags.
or other. Um, I have a question about so by the way, is anyone on today's call? Is this your first time on the call by chance? Um, if this is your first time on the call, it'd be really nice just to hear from you, to be able to say hi. Okay.
Yeah, it's my first time,
Oh, nice. Yeah,
so I don't. Hello.
yeah, well, we can hear you.
So what am I supposed to do? Introduce myself.
Oh yeah, if you would please.
Oh, okay. So basically, I'm a front-end developer, and I've been working with React and JavaScript. So I see this platform as a good opportunity for me in the sense that I'll be able to contribute to the open source projects. That way, I will be able to learn more and level up my experience, and also, yeah, give back to the community actually.
Totally. Nice. You put it well. Like, well, then so say a little bit more if you would. Are you currently a student? Are you currently working part time or full time? Or
So yeah, so I'm on a full-time job here in Lagos because I'm from Nigeria. So I just want something I'll be doing with my leisure time. That's why I pick up contributing to open source. Then I got in touch to a meshmate, which is Roots. So she walked me through and let me know what exactly Layer 5 is doing and how they are contributing to the beginners that are looking forward to contributing to open source.
that's beautiful. Do you so some of this, so no doubt she had already described it. Some of the, let me just ask it bluntly then. Is our websites using Jekyll or our websites using Gatsby React more interesting?
So, are you asking the one I'm? No,
Yeah, like,
just React and JavaScript. So
okay,
basically, I'm new to Jekyll and Gatsby, so I don't know much about them. So I've made up my mind since I'll be contributing to Layer 5. I will just have to uh check up on them and just for fundamentals, so I'll be able to contribute and stuff.
nice. That's all. That's fantastic. Yeah, welcome. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, to your point, this is a great project to cut your teeth on, so to speak, or like, and actually, let me encourage you one step further and say something um, like there's a ton of work to be done, or there's a ton of things to do, ton of things to refine on the site. If you, and I just so happened to browse to this page just now, and I noticed like, oh, hey, we're using Markdown here when we meant to use HTML, and so that's above. Like we should go open an issue and then fix it. And
Okay.
in this case, like, hey, I think this thing has your name on it. Or I mean, like, it's a good way of you know how to fix it, but in the process of fixing it, you'll have to get comfortable with cloning the site, building the site, creating the PR, like the whole that just getting familiar with that whole process is very helpful.
Exactly.
And then and so a couple of things like one, you're encouraged. Hey, if you see something that you consider wrong, please raise it up. At
Okay.
this stage, it probably is wrong. So yeah, nice.
Thank you very much, Lee.
Yeah.
I really appreciate.
And then Oleiwala, give me your hands up, your virtual hands up. So just in case you wanted to say anything, lost audio. Hey, Olaiwala. Just in case you were wanting to say anything, feel free. But okay. Other than that, I just looked at the time and just realized we're like 7 minutes past the hour. Did we miss anything today? So, Pratya, it seems like we might want to take a look across some themes, some Jekyll themes, and see if there's something that you think might work.
Yeah, I'll ping you at Slack.
Nice. Okay. Shri, did we miss anything literally from the meeting minutes, or we got everything covered? Oh, good. Nice. Okay. Yeah. I think we're all good. Nice. Well, happy Diwali, everybody. Olu, thank you for. By the way, I know I keep saying Olu because I'm worried about slaughtering the second half of your first name. So I apologize.
You can just call me Toib.
Oh, so he, okay.
Yeah, Toib is fine.
Good. Well, folks, we'll see you on the next call. See you very soon.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Okay. All right. Thanks all. So see you guys.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Bye.